Today we are going to be talking about eating healthy on a budget. This is a topic that I think a lot of us could use or even do better at. The first thing is planning out our meals. If we can check our fridge and our cabinets to see if we already have things, and then making food and using the food that we already have, that's going to save us money in the long run. Another thing that's really important is when we get to the grocery store, sticking to our grocery list. I know a lot of times I get to the grocery store and there are so many things that I want, but it's so important to stick to the grocery list so you're not overspending and buying too much food that you won't be able to eat in time for it to go bad. Another awesome way to save money is cooking at home. So much cheaper than eating out. There are a lot of healthy restaurants nowadays, but I also find that I eat healthier when I don't eat out. Part of that is probably because I eat less when I'm eating at home than I would if I eat out, because I always like to try and finish my whole meal so no food goes to waste. Cooking large portions and then eating leftovers. This kind of saves time and money. Another thing that I try not to do is shop when I'm hungry. So many times I've gone to the grocery store when I'm super hungry and I'm craving foods, and that is not always been good for my budget. That's never been good for my budget. So if I can, I try and grab a little snack at least before I go to the grocery store. So I'm not just starving and want to buy everything there. Another way is buying whole foods. So if we can, like buying a whole block of cheese instead of just like the shredded cheese or the like pre-sliced cheese. And then also like when you're buying grains or rice, just buying them the largest quantity you can. Most of them are less processed if you can buy them when they're not in little packages and things like that. Another way to save money is buying generic brands. They're always less expensive. The one thing I would advise in this situation is to look at the ingredients inside of the product. We don't want to buy a lower quality product than we need to. Stop buying junk food. This junk food is more expensive than we think. It adds up quite quickly and it doesn't fill us up. So we're buying that junk food and it's not giving us the nutrients we need, and so we need to eat more, and that's how we spend more, by buying junk food. Look for the sales at the grocery store, and then when there are good sales, just stock up on that food that you really like. Another thing that's huge is buying cheaper cuts of meat. That fresh meat and that fish is super expensive, and so sometimes it's just if you can just find those different things, types of protein or different types of meat that's less expensive. And then that kind of brings us to our next thing, which is replacing meat with other proteins. Eating less meat is always a good way to save money, but you need to make sure, if you're not eating meat, then make sure and try and find different proteins that are going to replace that. This is something that's easier, it tastes better, and it's healthier, and it's cheaper if we shop for produce that's in season. So I know sometimes we have those little cravings of fruits, and that's fine, obviously. But if we can try and stick to the fruits that are in season, you're going to save a lot of money that way. It's also healthier to eat that way. Another nice trick to save money is buying frozen fruits and vegetables. This produce is usually just as nutritious, but since it's sold in bulk and it's frozen, you're not wasting it. Another thing which is going to take lots of time is growing your own produce. I've always wanted to do this. I've never had my own home, so it's never really been available to me, but I hope one day I'm able to do this. Growing your own produce is obviously the healthiest. You're going to get the most organic. It's going to cost the very least. And honestly, you're going to have lots of stuff to share, lots of produce and good food to share with your neighbors. Another thing is packing your lunch. Packing your lunch every day saves tons of money on lunch. I am not really good at this. I wish I was better, but it is expensive to eat out. Using coupons help so much. I think we sometimes underestimate how much we're saving when we use coupons, even if we're saving like $5. That definitely adds up over time. It's just appreciate less expensive foods. Eggs, seeds, frozen fruits and vegetables, whole grains. With a little bit of seasoning, these things are so good, and they honestly can be just as good as these expensive foods that we buy. To end, I just want to say that we don't have to be spending a ton of money to be eating healthy.